Okay. Hello everyone. Good evening and welcome to another exciting episode of FlightBase Talk and Roll webinar series. Are you ready to talk and roll? Hi, I am Ayushi Mishra, your host for the day. Now let's get started. Have you ever wished to minimize risk in a Powerline inspection without breaking a sweat? Well, today's webinar is your jackpot moment. Now I know that you are thinking inspecting power lines with drone, isn't that just a high-stake version of kite flying? Well, fear not, because DJI Do2 and FlightBase are here to bring a shockingly smooth experience, pun fully intended. Let's face it, client assurance providers dream of. Enter the DJI Dog and FlightBase, the ultimate power couple in drone automation. They have got you covered with risk-free inspection, real-time monitoring, and drumroll, please, cost-effective solution. Yes, you heard that right. Think of an autonomous DIB solution as a team. The hardware is the brawn, the FlightBase automation platform is the brain, and together they are saving the day one voltage spike at a time. Covering exactly why automated dog drone should be your go-to solution for powerline inspection, I am joined by two extremely learned professionals from Drone Hub Ghana team. So please welcome our speakers for today. First up, we have Nicola. So Nicola is the business development lead at Drone Hub Africa, a leading drone product and solution provider and of the DJI Enterprise partner in Africa. With nearly 10 years of experience in the drone industry, he has consulted and supported businesses to adopt, expand, and leverage drone technology to streamline operations and increase efficiency. Welcome on board, Nicholas. Next up, we have
Oh,
Richard
thank you.
Rossi. Yeah, welcome. So next up, we have Richard Rossi, the drone pilot and researcher at Drone Hub Africa, who has a background in electrical and electronics industry. He has over 5 years of experience helping businesses integrate customized drone solutions to meet diverse operational needs. As a UV solution engineer and researcher at Drone Hub Africa, a DJI enterprise product, and a solution partner and a leading drone technology provider in Africa, Richard plays a vital role in advancing innovations, drone program, and application across various industries. Welcome, Richard. Finally, from the FlightBase team, we have Achal Negi, director of business development here at FlightBase. Achal, a robotics geek turned into a business developer and entrepreneur, has a decade of experience in the field of automated drone technology. He currently holds the position of Director of Business Development here at FlightBase and is a key member of FlightBase leadership team. In this role, Achal oversees the company's global business development, marketing strategies, customer success, and product development initiatives. Welcome on board, Achal. How excited are you for today's webinar?
Hey, great, Ayushi. Thank you for hosting this webinar and inviting all of us on the interesting topic of Powerline inspections today. So glad to be here. I'm looking forward to hear Nicholas and Richard in more details what they have in store for us to share. And then, of course, I'll be taking up a lot of stuff regarding how you can leverage FlightBase and automated drones in the landscape of power lines, substations, and the sector which we're looking to learn forward.
Great. Thanks, Achal. Thanks so much for the insight. Okay, well, this session is going to be the first. This is a live session, so don't fret about any spoilers. Feel free to grab your questions and drop them in the Q&A tab. We will address them after the end of the webinar. Nicholas, Richard, and Achal will be taking up as per the questions requirements. We are also streaming the session live on YouTube and LinkedIn. So if you're facing any bandwidth issues, don't worry. Feel free to switch over. And with that, let's dive in. Over to you, Nicola and Richard.
Sure. Hello, everyone. And Ayushi, I'd like to first thank you and the FlightBase team for the collaboration and the introduction you've given to us. We're also grateful to our audience for their time and opportunity to share with them our insights on using autonomous drones in the powerline industry. For those of you who are not familiar with the Drone Hub Africa, we've been operating in the commercial drone industry as a drone products and solutions provider for over 7 years. And we are particularly excited to have this African perspective brought to the fore as a drone technology provider based in Africa. In the ecosystem and in this industry, we're a DJI enterprise partner, a Flightbase value-added bronze partner. And together with other strategic partnerships, we support businesses with enterprise drone products and solutions across different industries, from mining, energy, construction, survey and mapping, public safety, and many others. In the industries we've worked, what we have observed over the years is that the use of drone technology has progressed over time with growing use cases as the technology has gotten better and has evolved over time. For example, take the shift or the move from visual line of sight operations to beyond visual line of sight operations, which has opened up increasing use cases in the delivery space, in security space, and in other industries. The same way, you look at the improved safety features over time that the drones have come with, has contributed to more use cases in safety-conscious industries like the mining and energy. And of course, there's now a growing need for a shift from the sole dependency on manually operated drones with remote pilots to the use of autonomous drone solutions to achieve next-level efficiency and safety in the industry, and also expand on even more use cases. So this webinar really comes as a welcome opportunity to look into how autonomous drone solutions can help us have more use cases, specifically within the Powerline industry. Now, delving a bit into specifically what we do as a company, we market and promote drone products, software, and solutions. We also consult and train enterprise drone applications, and then also provide support services like maintenance and then repair. For some of our clients who have unique solutions that are not off the shelf, we also assist them with custom solutions and develop certain programs and customizations for their unique projects. So essentially, as a company, we basically support businesses with the technology adoption, integration, and then expansion. Over the years, what we've seen is that working closely with our industry partners, including stakeholders like our resellers, our manufacturing partners, customers, helps to ensure that we have the right fit for any drone solutions that we are deploying. So it's good to see that on this webinar, we have some of our stakeholders, resellers, and we hope, and then as well customers, and we hope to expand on that. Within a regulatory context, we're a licensed drone vendor with the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, and it's within that framework that we operate. So essentially, we hope that at the end of this webinar, we can bring to the fore and shed some light on the challenges and risks that are faced in Powerline inspections, establish some of the typical inspection workflows and how autonomous drone solutions can minimize risks of Powerline inspections for the industry that we operate in. I'd like to thank everyone. And at this point, I'll hand over to Richard to take us through the technical presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas. Just to begin, let me just give a little background about Powerlines and what they do. Our modern lives is highly dependent on electricity, and Powerlines plays a critical role in ensuring that we have electricity at our homes, industries, and our workplace. Electrical power lines transmit electrical energy from generation stations to the consumer point. And there are different types of the electrical power lines, and they are usually classified based on the voltage they carry and their size and the function they perform in the power system. We have the transmission lines, which are usually huge and of high heights. They carry high amount of voltage, and they transmit the electrical energy from the generation stations to the substations. We have the sub-transmission, which is kind of in between. They carry medium voltage. And then we have the distribution lines, which carry low voltage, and they transmit the power from the substations to the distribution transformers that are finally distributed to our homes. Now, knowing the state of the power lines is very critical to utility companies. As we use the power lines, they begin to age, they wear and they tear. And especially in our modern world where the demand of electricity has increased, oftentimes the power lines are overloaded, and meaning that the rate at which they wear and they tear increases. And so this call for routine inspections on the line to ensure that their integrity are good to provide reliable electricity to our homes and our offices and our industries. Aside the routine inspections that are carried on the transmission lines, there are other factors that do affect the transmission lines that cause for immediate or emergent inspections on them. One of the typical one is harsh weather conditions and natural disasters. After a heavy downpour or a storm or a natural disaster such as bushfire, utility companies will want to quickly assess their transmission lines and then know the damages that these natural disasters and weather conditions has caused onto it. And so they deploy teams to the field to inspect the lines to assess the integrity of the lines. Now, power companies are more interested in lifeline inspections to ensure that they don't interrupt the supply of electricity. What I mean by this is that while they are inspecting the lines, they will still prefer to have the line active and supplying electricity to customers. Next slide. The traditional way that utility companies have used to inspect the transmission lines or power lines in general include deploying personnel to the field. They stand under the tower, they inspect from the base of the tower to the top of the tower with vision aids such as binoculars and thermal cameras. And oftentimes they need to climb the tower to inspect the equipment on top to ascertain they are in good working condition. And if there are damages, it calls for maintenance action to be taking place. But looking at this way of conducting the inspection, there are a lot of risks that are associated with it. One of the typical one is exposure to high voltage that the power lines are transmitting, especially if they are doing lifeline inspection. And even if the inspection they are doing is not lifeline and the power has been cut off, the residual charge that are stored in the conductors are still very dangerous. A little touch of it can cause electrocution and even an arc flash that can lead to serious injuries. The inspecting personnel has to follow strict safety precautions and wear the appropriate PPEs. And whenever there is a failure on the part of the inspecting personnel to adhere to these safety precautions, or when there is a failure in the PPEs that are being used, then of course an accident is going to happen and electrocution is going to take place. Oftentimes, these high voltage transmission lines carries along with them electromagnetic radiations, and exposing yourself to it for a very long time can lead to long-term health implications. Now, when they are doing the inspection the manual way, they do climb the tower to assess the equipment that are on top, the conductors, the insulators, and the rest. And climbing brings along the risk of fall, especially when the transmission towers are aging. And worldwide, it is estimated that 38% of all transmission towers or transmission lines are aged 30 years and above. And it will surprise you that in Ghana, we have transmission lines that are older than 50 years. Oftentimes, these towers have their foundation or their base weakened, and climbing them is very risky, and it requires a lot of technical expertise in order to do that, and appropriate PPEs. And anytime your PPE is going to fail you, it means an accident is going to occur. Now, another challenge or another risk that is associated with power line inspection is access to hard-to-reach terrains. Most power lines are located in hard-to-reach terrains such as mountainous, thick forests, some even crosses water bodies. Accessing this place is very dangerous and sometimes delay the inspection process and even reduce the frequency at which the inspection will be done. There is also lack of real-time access to inspection data. Inspector has to go on the field, assess the integrity of the line, come back to the office to report before a maintenance team will be deployed to conduct the necessary maintenance and repair actions on the line. And this is a big challenge, meaning you can't implement predictive maintenance actions on the line, and certain time-sensitive fault on the line cannot wait without degrading into a serious effort, a serious issue on the transmission line. There is also inaccuracy in the inspection results. The interpretation of the data is solely based on the one conducting the inspection. The one who is on top of the tower conducting the inspection is the one, his interpretation is what is the maintenance team are going to rely on to perform the maintenance. And oftentimes there are inaccuracies in their interpretation and there are a lot of inconsistency in them. Now, due to this, most utility companies look out for best ways to perform inspections on transmission lines that reduces these risks that are being identified. One of the methods that has been used over the years is the use of helicopters. Now, the helicopters gives aerial view. They make the inspection more safer compared to the manual way of doing it, but it's very expensive, and sometimes they come with their own challenges that kind of add up to the one that they are trying to solve. And so one method that has proven to be very effective in inspecting power lines is the use of UAV. UAV, like the helicopter, can give you an aerial view. It's much safer. You can put on multiple sensors on one drone to perform the inspection, which gives you multiple data for you to analyze later to know the state of your power line. It streamlines the inspection process, but then it also has certain challenges associated with it. That is to say, having a pilot on site performing the inspection with a remote controller is still a manual process. They still have to assess how to read terrains, and sometimes they still have to get a little closer to the transmission tower, which may still expose them to electromagnetic radiation. Now, due to this, what utility companies are really looking out for is automation, where they can automate the entire inspection process and eliminate the need of and reduce the effort of human in this inspection process. And so they look out for a method that can automate the process. And one of the methods that can automate the entire process to make it more efficient is the use of drone-in-the-box technology. Next slide. So now the drone-in-the-box technology consists of a drone and a docking station. The drone lands on the docking station. The drone take off from the docking station and can also land on the docking station to recharge its battery. What this means is that whenever you want to perform an operation, the drone will launch from the docking station, execute the task, and when its battery is low, it comes back, land on the docking station, and then recharges its battery. So when you use the drone-in-the-box technology for inspection, there are several advantages that you get, and one of them is it automates the entire inspection process. What this means is that this time, you don't need a pilot to be on site. You don't need people to stand at the base of the tower to conduct inspection. You don't need personnel to climb the tower to conduct the inspection. So the safety issues and the risks that were identified are eliminated here. Here, you need a software that will be able to automate the entire process for you. And one of the best software that can help you automate the entire process is the FlytBase software. So with the FlytBase software, you can be at the comfort of a command and a control center, and then you can plan and then execute tasks effectively without being on site. Now, this will give you access to real-time data. So while the inspection is taking place, you can have access to the live feed from the drone. And this has a lot of benefit associated with it. So what this means is that you can now employ predictive maintenance action. You can now have an entire team that are interpreting the data that the drone is presenting, which means that inconsistency and inaccuracies are being eliminated from here. And also, if the amount of data the drone is capturing is so much for human to interpret, you can integrate an artificial intelligence model that can assist in the interpretation. Now, using the drone-in-the-box technology ensures continuous operation. One of the challenges that we saw was assessing how to read terrains. one of the effects of the hard rate terrain is that it reduces the amount of time or the frequency at which the inspection can be conducted. And globally, using the manual method, an entire power system or the entire power lines within a particular region or country can be inspected at most twice a year. And this is not the ideal case, but because the current method cannot go beyond that, that is why it has become something like a standard. But with the drone-in-the-box technology, you can have continuous operation. You can increase the intensity or the frequency at which you conduct the inspections on the power lines. And oftentimes, when a natural disaster occurs, there has to be an emergency team that will be deployed to go and assess the integrity of the line. With the drone-in-the-box technology, it will make such a thing very efficient and effective. When there is a storm, when there is a rain, the drone can quickly be deployed to assess the state of the line before a maintenance team can be employed to perform the corrections and the repair actions that are needed. So overall, using the drone-in-the-box technology enhances the safety of the power line inspection, minimizing the risk to an appreciable level. Next slide. So as a DJI product and solution partner, having used the DJI Do2, we recommend the DJI Do2 as a drone-in-the-box technology that can help streamline power line inspection and minimize the risk. Now, the DJI Do2 is designed in such a way that it makes deployment easy. You just need to give it a source of power, which can come from either the grid or from a renewable source, such as a solar PV. Once you give it power, you give it access to stable internet, and with the FlightBase software, you can execute, you can plan your mission and then execute it effectively. The DJI Do2 also gives you access to remote deployment. Together with the FlightBase software, you can be in the comfort of your office or in the command and control center. You can plan a mission and execute the mission and have access to the live feed that the drone is capturing. And we talk about system integration. You can integrate the DJI Do2 into your existing system. That is to say, you can decide not to use the dock in an isolation, but integrate it into your existing system through the FlightBase software. So already, maybe a utility company may have ways of assessing the integrity of their transmission lines. They can integrate the dock to that same system. For example, let's say a relay has reported a fault in a particular zone. The dock can be integrated with the system in such a way that as soon as the fault occurs, the drone, that is the docking station that is installed in that particular zone, can be quickly deployed to assess the fault even before a maintenance team goes to the scene. It is also designed with minimal moving parts, which makes maintenance easy. You can assess the health status of the dock from the FlightBase software to know when there is a failure in a mission. It will report the exception to you. You know what caused that particular failure. And it also requires maintenance in a 6 months interval. Now, the DJI Do2 comes with the Matrix 3D or the Matrix 3TD drone, which has incredible performance or specification that makes it very effective for power line inspection. It can occupy an effective operating radius of 10 kilometers. It has a flight time of 50 minutes. That is to say, once you launch the drone and it's returning back to the docking station, you have a 50 minutes window to perform your operation. But oftentimes, for safety reasons, it is recommended that you don't use all the 50 minutes. You leave some for contingencies and emergencies. It is rated IP55, that is, the docking station is rated IP55, which makes it completely waterproof. So wherever you install it, whether rain or shine, it can operate. And the drone inside is also IP54 rated, which makes it waterproof to a point that is, when it is raining and it's not so heavy, the drone can still operate. The docking station has an integrated environmental monitoring system that gives you information about the weather condition around it. It has 6 directional obstacle sensing, which is very critical for power line inspection. when a drone is performing a power line inspection, it should be able to sense its environment so not to crash into a vegetation or even to crash into the power line itself. And another critical thing when it comes to power line inspection with drone is the ability to incorporate multiple payloads or multiple sensors on the drone, so you have access to different kinds of data that you can interpret to know the state of the transmission lines. And here, the dock or the drone has a zoom camera, a thermal camera, and also a wide angle camera to give you multiple data. Next slide. So when it comes to power line inspection, we did explore the capabilities of the drone. We inspected some power lines, and the outcome is what you are seeing on the screen. We were able to read the nameplate on the tower from a distance of 68 meters from the tower at a height of 100 meters. And being able to read the nameplate of the power or the transmission line is very critical, because when maintenance team are being deployed to the field, they want to know the particular tower that they discovered an issue with whilst the drone was performing the inspection. And here we were able to see, we also did inspections on the insulator fittings, and if there are any fault or anything, you will see clearly from the images. All the bolts and the nuts are clearly seen, and experts can access this data and know whether there is an issue with it. We also did a thermal analysis. In the next slide, we also did a thermal analysis, which experts can also interpret to assess the state of the power line. We also inspected the conductors for sagging and debonding and corrosion and other critical things that are on the power line. So from this, you could see that using drone in the box technology greatly minimize the risk when it comes to power line inspections. And the DJI Do2 particular has multiple payloads that makes it very efficient when it comes to power line inspection. Now, this same workflow can also be applied to substation inspection, since they have similar equipments over there. And in areas where vandals do attack the power lines, especially distribution lines, and steal conductors from it, which is very common in Africa, during the night time too, the dog can be used for patrolling the lines to detect these vandals that attack the transmission lines. So that is it for Drone Hub.
Those were some really great insights, Richard. I mean, as you mentioned, like how risky are those manual operations, and how DJI Do2 is, clearly transforming the industry when it comes to being its reliable solution, the size, the additional payload capabilities. Like DJI Do2 is completely revolutionizing the industry, and all the pointers that you mentioned are very insightful, because while we are considering which DIB solution to take, those are some key points that anyone who's going for a solution like that needs to consider. Okay, next up, we'll hear more about this, how these workflows work, how is FlightBase enabling more on these solutions. Over to you, Achal. I'll just stop my screen. You can share it from here.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ayushi, for that. So let me just share my screen. We know once it is visible.
Meanwhile, everyone, if you have any questions for Richard, just please drop them in the Q&A tab. We'll answer them towards the end of the session. Over to you, Ajay.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nicholas. Richard, I was making notes when you were just speaking about it, right? And the points that you really hit, Nicholas, in terms of how industry is transitioning from manual to automated drones. And that is the inflection that we are seeing in this market, where we all used to operate manual drones, and now it's kind of hitting a ceiling. And that is where the autonomy is going to play a big role, where you would be automating, and that is where electric companies, power line companies can scale operations. Because today, if they need to fly 500 drones, they would probably need 500 people. And that is practically not possible, right? And these are really long power lines to substations, and there are so many use cases. So there was a point which was really, really insightful there, as well as in terms of the downtime, Richard, when you were talking about, right, the downtime cost you a lot. And if you are able to do inspections, and specifically as the infra is getting older and older, right? You have 30 years, 50 years, you need to inspect a lot. So those were some really interesting points which I had taken a note of. So as we move forward, I want to talk about how you can leverage this technology and scale it into entire your substations into your power line. So let's get started. Let's take a quick teaser of Do2 and FlightBase and understand what it is. So a quick glimpse of what DJI Do2 is, and we're gonna see it more. So a quick teaser, but what we're gonna talk about that hey, what are the key use cases that we could cover in terms of the detailed inspection for fault detection, having emergency response to a critical situation or a substation or a power line, site security for substations, as you can fly drones continuously 24/7, as well as applications like 3D mapping and vegetation management that we can do on the power line or substation. So let's build our enterprise workflow and let's see what typical customers are looking forward when they're looking to automate their power line inspection. So when you specifically talk to a customer, right, or if you are the customer, you would be looking for, say, a remote project manager who wants to deploy automated drones for power line inspection or a substation like you see in the picture. They won't be able to detect any structural damage, line sagging, conductor corrosion, or maybe a tree falling on a power line, all of those items, as well as the team wants to maybe have recording of all the missions, analyze power conditions, identify maintenance that could be identify all the maintenance issues that they have over the live video feed or over the stored video feed as well, and as well as use the automated drones for security and emergency response. A lot of time, also the cost that power grid companies or substations kind of incur where they have something going on the substation and that is like 20 miles away. And somebody has to drive there and go and check what is happening. All of these problems can now be solved with automated drones with the advent of DJI Do2 and FlightBase. As well as you can also manage high quality images and videos that you capture during a mission and have detailed post-flight analysis and reporting. But how do we do that? How do we configure this solution together? How we can create this solution for an enterprise who would need different integrations, different workflows, multiple use cases on their side? So let's take a deeper dive and understand this in multiple details and how you can leverage FlightBase to integrate and deploy such a solution. So let's look at a power line inspection workflow and what are some set of advantages and features that you have in FlightBase that you can leverage to create these kind of workflows. We're gonna cover multiple use cases. Let's take up power line inspections. So the number one thing is FlightBase allows you to have the entire linear planning for the asset inspection. So you can see that there is a site right now. This is a site where you have a substation and you have power lines arriving from them. And it allows you to create missions for automated drone where your dog could be sitting over here. And then you can have a mission plan for a linear asset management. You can see that your drone is flying in this direction, but you can set the camera angle to take capture images on a certain distance or time intervals. So you exactly know what you're capturing and you're able to capture the entire power line. We offer detailed settings for route, waypoints. So at each and every waypoint, you can change the gimbal angle, you can change the zoom angle, you can change the camera, whether it's a thermal camera or a RGB camera, you can switch all of that and create a customized mission for linear asset inspections. Now, this could be a power line here, or it could be any other asset where you're looking to inspect it, and it could do the entire inspection for you on the power line. Similarly, you also have live mission recorder. So you have a capability where if you're not able to plan missions on a map, you can actually fly the drone manually using the dashboard, using the on-screen buttons, and check mark the live mission recorder. And then you can record the GPS points as well as the gimbal angle, zoom angle, and you can create the automated missions. Some of you would probably remember that you used to do this with manual drones. But now with FlightBase, you can do that with automated drones. So once you have flown the drones in the particular pattern with the particular settings of the gimbal, camera, it records that point, and you can do a complex mission of the inspection. In most of the time, it is very difficult to plan missions over the map for Powerline inspection. But using this feature, it's really, really smooth and easy to do that and have a complicated mission. And once you've done that, that mission is automatically recorded, and then you can schedule it again and again, where every time you want that, you can repeat that mission and do that again and again for Powerline inspection. So as you can see in the video, you have zoom angle and you have all the settings where you can record and play that again. So this specific feature is very unique to FlightBase with the dogs, and you can use that to create custom missions or complicated inspection missions over the Powerline. Once that is done, you can schedule all that on the calendar. Now, if you need those repeated missions once a week, once a month, every day, or you need to allocate tasks to all the docking stations that you have deployed over a substation or a power line, you can do all of that in the calendar. We offer a sophisticated way where you can plan that entirely and choose the right missions and schedule it and create your entire pipeline of the missions that you're looking to do on your site. Next up, let's look at an emergency response workflow. So as I said, a lot of cost is incurred when you have an alarm go off, right? There is a fire hazard, there is some kind of a threat that is happening, and you have really long linear asset, or you could have a substation which is really far away. Now, in these cases, whenever that alarm is triggered, it could be a fire alarm, it could be a security threat, it could be any other threat that the notification which has come from the system, you need to send a person to check there. And maybe most of the time it's a false alarm. Or if it's a real, then you need to really plan things in advance. What kind of resources would you need to contain that kind of a damage that could happen, which could lead to serious loss of revenue, to the entire energy asset could be damaged. So emergency response can be automated using Flinks. And Flinks is short for FlightBase links. So these are connectors where you are able to integrate third-party systems with FlightBase. It could be external alarms, apps, devices, your substation monitoring system, your power line monitoring systems, and so on. So let's take a look at some of the Flinks. One of the most popular Flink is Alarm Flinks, where you can integrate different sensors or system on the site and send the drone as soon as that alarm is triggered. So the Alarm Flink keeps listening to the heartbeat of that alarm source and gets the geolocation of the alarm trigger whenever that occurs. So you can create a custom Flink, be it like a perimeter fence or a CCTV camera detecting some kind of a fire threat or a security threat, or a CAD system like a computer-aided dispatch system. You can integrate any kind of external triggers using Alarm Flink. And then once it is there, you can get that alarm directly in the dashboard. Like, for example, if you have a wildfire camera or a camera which can detect that kind of high temperatures, and you want to go and check with the drone that what's happening in this area, it will show you this kind of alert, and it will also show you where it comes from through your system. And now you can send the drone to that location autonomously without being on the site and get the real-time situational awareness of what's happening in this area through the FlightBase command center dashboard. You can also take manual control. So as you reach over there, this is not the exact power line, but just to help you understand that you can completely control the drone remotely through the dashboard. You can look around, you can zoom in, you can capture a particular items and take a closer look at that asset or what are the things which are going on your field and get all that idea. Similarly, we also offer flows, where flows allows you to create automated workflows. So say in an alarm response workflow, if you have an alarm that is raised, you can create a flow and it helps you send a drone autonomously to that location. So say when an alarm is raised from a wildfire camera, you can set that action to go to that alarm location on your particular site with the particular device that you have. And the drone would automatically respond as well as give you a notification on the dashboard and alert on the dashboard that, hey, I'm responding to a threat. So you could be sitting in your office, which is far away, or sitting at your home, and you could see that entire alert on the screen and see what's happening on the site. Similarly, if when you go to the direction where if you want to detect something, we offer AI detection capabilities of detecting various objects. This is primarily done for security use cases where you're able to detect a certain vehicle or car, or you can have custom AI modules integrated from third-party vendors through our AI platform. So as you're looking to inspect it and you need to integrate it in platform, you can do that using FlightBase. So moving on to the perimeter security workflow, you can expand this to have an entire perimeter grid mission plan in FlightBase. So you can have a search pattern, or you could have an entire perimeter security where drones can fly 24/7 without any manual intervention using FlightBase and collect the data for you. And using the AI detection, they can raise an alert as soon as they see something which is suspicious. You can also integrate a speaker and a spotlight on a drone and the dog. So in case you want to play a certain sound, or if you're flying in a night which is truly dark, you can see in a thermal camera video feed, or you can have a spotlight to see what's going on at that particular location during the dark hours. You also can share guest video feed. So with a simple share of a link or a QR code, say someone outside your team or a local agency or a police station or a fire station wants to see what's going on, you can quickly share a link and you can visualize your entire video feed on a phone or a tablet or any laptop computer without being part of the team. So this gives you an access to involve third-party agencies in case of any accidents or in case of any other incident that could happen on your site. We also offer live video streaming links where you can integrate live video stream with your third-party systems like video management solution. One of the example is integrating solutions like Genetec. So Genetec is one of the popular solutions. You could be using Genetec, Milestone, Hikvision, or any other solution that you use where you monitor all your site. You would probably want to give access to the live video feed to your security team as well. And now with these kind of integrations, we can live stream that data to your security team, your different kind of teams, and they can get access along with the camera video feeds from CCTV cameras and other cameras on the site as well. So this really helps you build an enterprise system where you can collaborate with multiple people and still have the data available in their systems instead of getting them trained on entire flight-based operations, because you would probably restrict it to few people who can manage drones and docking stations, but that data would be very relevant to a lot of teams in your enterprise or the organization. So let's look at some data management workflows and understand what could be done once you have collected the data. So FlightBase offers advanced gallery where you can filter the data with date, sites, different media tags, flight type, missions, devices, cameras, and so on. And we offer a sophisticated way where you can compare all of that over the time and see all that data in the advanced gallery. Once you have this data, using the data processing links, you can talk to any kind of third-party applications. You could see some familiar names here, but if you're using any third-party application, FlightBase can seamlessly integrate with any data processing solution. So FlightBase would take care of your flight safety and reliability, mission planning and execution, dog drone operations, and then you can talk to a third-party solution to create a terrain or a 3D model, generate orthomosaic, create digital twins, or do analysis of your data that has been collected. So there are a lot of popular softwares which are already being integrated. Some of them are readily available for 2D, 3D mapping, point cloud generation, or vegetation management, construction progress monitoring, fault detections. So be it Drone Deploy, Pix4D, Scopito, Archeon, there are several solutions which are already integrated. Plus, if you have your own solution, we can integrate that with the data processing link. So let's take a quick look at one of the videos from the partners who do the fault detection in the power.
Hi, this is David Wikström, co-founder and CTO at Skycraft.
So in this video, what you're seeing here is once you have thrown the drone or the power line, you can seamlessly connect that data with a third-party platform. And this platform is designed dedicatedly to manage power lines. Now, this could be this platform or some other platform, but an automated drone would collect the data for you, and then it would seamlessly connect that data and share that data with a third-party software like this, which can detect things like a tree falling over a power line or any kind of issues that you could face or a power line inspection. So with a seamless integration, it's possible to use the existing tools that you probably are using with manually piloted drones or flying a helicopter and capturing those images, but you can bring all those enterprise tools or choose from the tools from the large variety of tools that we have listed in the Flink library and connect that for your Powerline applications. So in this video, you're getting the entire report and you can use that tool. The benefit here is you don't need to send a pilot to fly the drone. FlightBase will take care of it from the autonomy platform, and you can work closely with Drone Hub to deploy that in your geography. So you can see that you can have all that detections of different things, different aspects of the type of data you have collected, and get all that data on the dashboard, and that could be seamlessly integrated. So you fly the drone using FlightBase and you can process it with a third-party software, and we have tons of integrations available which could be leveraged for this kind of detection as well as analysis. So we also have a quick video from DJI where they shared a case study of a dog and how they can use, how customers are using DJI dog for multiple operations on the Powerline. And we wanted to play this video so you can understand a little bit better how DJI is creating this kind of products to do Powerline inspection.
Better what I mean. In Jilin, a city located in northeastern China, the Jilin National Grid Powerline Inspection crews are responsible for restoring the power supply after snowstorms. With a 6-month-long winter and temperatures as low as minus 20 degrees Celsius, inspection crews are susceptible to frostbite and snow blindness. This is a perfect scenario to deploy DJI Dog and conduct inspections that are far too risky for people. Sitting in the monitor room of the operations and maintenance center, the operator, with a few clicks, can select a dock device and carry out an immediate inspection of any given substation and its connecting lines. The dock and the M30 are able to perform the inspection of the assets in the field, while the maintenance crew monitor the progress from the operations center, which is 60 kilometers away from where the dock is located. The DJI dock offers the availability to perform fully automated drone operations remotely. This means you can plan and schedule activities to be performed on a desired work site without the need of being physically on site. This opens up the possibility to scale drone operations like never before.
Yeah, so a quick video to understand how the dogs are deploying on a Powerline on a real use case. And this video is available online. You can go to our YouTube channel and learn more how these things are happening. So there are a few more challenges when you're deploying automated drone docking stations. And FlightBase as a platform provides you an entire suite of tools to overcome that. So one of the challenges, of course, as you're flying this, you need to annotate the data. You need to fly and mark few items. So FlightBase allows you the entire annotation and map sync, where your entire team can collaborate over the map and put annotation, mark areas where it needs to be inspected. So say you have one team who gives you a task that, hey, this area needs to be inspected at that particular date. They can go to FlightBase dashboard, they can mark those areas, and later on you can use those annotation to send the drone to that location and inspect that area. Similarly, it's not just about one drone. An operator can do one-to-many operations, and that's a real ROI, where you could have a command center where people can operate multiple drones in most of the geographies with the correct approvals and the waivers, where you can have these operations done from a centralized command center and managing multiple drones over your asset. You have the detailed understanding of each and dog, and all the alerts are available, and the entire interface has been designed in an intuitive way where an operator can manage all of this remotely. We also have tools like team collaboration. So the live viewers, as well as people who are online, can chat about a complete mission. So you can talk online like an audio chat directly from the dashboard as you're seeing the live video feed, and you can collaborate much better during that inspection mission or emergency response or a security threat. You can also create corridor zones. So if you're looking to fly in a structured environment where you cannot fly outside a particular area, you can also create corridor zones, and our team can help you configure that using the dashboard or a linear asset like Powerline. We also offer things like video walls. So say if you have a centralized command center and you have a big team who are looking for multiple assets, you can put up a big video wall and use video wall feature to look at multiple video feeds for multiple drones that could be flying across the sites that you have in your region. Then another problem that everybody faces, or the challenge that they face, is beyond visual line of sight approvals. And that is where FlightBase offers some key features for flight safety, be it like fail safes, creating no-fly zones, creating geofences, and dynamic path planning, which are some basic tools which are required to make your flight safer. On top of that, we offer multiple integrations based on your geography, so you can prove to your authorities that you have a safe and reliable solution. So be it integration with detect and avoid solutions like CASIA G or any other solution which can detect cooperative and non-cooperative aircraft in the operational environment, or detection with the ADS-B technology like Ping USB to get real-time updates. Even when the drone dock is closed and nothing is powered on, you can integrate a third-party ADS-B. If your country has UTM, we offer UTM exchange where you can integrate a UTM. You can have a backup connectivity with the DJI dongle. So you always have a backup link over a 4G or a 5G LTE network to that. Plus, if in some cases, if you need parachute, you can deploy that on the drone and have it for safe landings as well. So you don't damage the drone as well. You can generate extensive flight logs and export and share with your team as you're doing these operations. You can integrate parachute, as I spoke about, with a drone if that is required for the waivers. And that is how we have been working closely with our partners to get regulatory approvals across the globe. We also offer standard templates. So in case you're interested, we have templates for different parts of the world where we have already done these kind of applications, waivers with the partners and help them get that application approved. So in case you're interested, feel free to reach out to us, our team, and we'll be able to assist you. On top of that, you can also have a detect and avoid fling. So you can have a fling where you can detect other aircrafts, other drones in the sky. And it's a quick video of how it looks like.
Applications. Accessing sensor data. Navigate to the top left hamburger menu and select Sensors. This displays all active detect and avoid sensors, including CASIA G or DJI AirSense, based on your setup. Now, click on the desired sensor to view its details. The Overview tab presents sensor specifications and setup details, ensuring you have comprehensive visibility of your equipment. The Live Traffic tab reveals intruding aircraft in your airspace. If no threats are detected, it confirms the airspace is clear. Notably, the CASIA G sensor's vision camera can also identify drones, adding an extra layer of surveillance. Receiving alerts. Aircraft alerts are also accessible from the Fleet View, enhancing situational awareness. Now click on the sensor whose data you wish to see. As you can see, there are aircraft right above the area. Should you question why certain aircraft aren't flagged as alerts, it's likely because they are outside the designated threat cylinder, a critical.
So quick glimpse of how these kind of detect and avoid technology could be used. And this is something which is really crucial in most of the parts of the world. And as we are looking at a scale deployments, you would need this kind of technology to look out at the airspace, and your local regulation authorities will be looking for something like this, which can help you see the airspace and ensure that drone operations are safe. And FlightBase offers you all the features where you can have all this integration, and as soon as we detect an aircraft, the drone can descend down to a certain altitude. In case your region also has UTM, you can do the same with the UTM fling. You can generate data and logs reports for your compliance use cases as well. You can export that in a GUTMA format or a PDF format in case you want to, you're using a tool to maintain your compliance for BLS approvals. All of those integrations or features are available in the FlightBase platform. Next up is the data security concern. A lot of this is critical infrastructure, and a lot of enterprises have concern that, hey, we have strict IT policies, and even if I go ahead with this, my IT department would take ages to approve this. And this is where FlightBase has introduced FlightBase Shield, where we can make sure that your data is entirely protected and all your concerns are sorted out. So we offer a dedicated dashboard called FlightBase Shield dashboard, where you can track all the data and compliance right on the dashboard itself. So we offer a feature where you can track and create an allow list and a firewall list for the entire block domain. And you can share that with your IT team. So you're always IT compliant. So we can give you a list of allowed domains, and the drone reaches out to only those servers and blocks the rest of the servers. So you can ensure that the data is not going out. It's a live monitoring tool, which is offered by FlightBase to make sure your IT team, IT compliance team is on board, and it could be configured as per your IT compliance as well. So taking care of your data security by end-to-end encryption, to the role-based access or single sign-ons with your custom authentication services, or the role-based access or providing proactive incident responses, to providing the entire network security or application security, where we already have multiple third-party VAPT done on the software, and we can provide you those reports so you can convince your IT teams to accept the solution and deploy on your critical infrastructure. We also have the required certification and compliances, be it IS 27001, SOC 2 Type 2, and GDPR. So you can have all the standard compliances and certifications that are required for IT compliance. Plus, in case you're not, your enterprise or the organization is not comfortable using cloud, you can deploy the entire system on the on-premise or an air-gap system. On-premise system is your own servers connected to cloud, or you could have in air-gap system where you do not require any internet, and you can operate over local network or your internet network itself for these operations. And this is the end of it. So it's really easy to get started. There is FlightBase 0, which is designed to get you started with just $0. It offers you all the features where you can get started with your remote operation centers, enterprise-based security, one-to-many drone operations, team management, integrating a joystick to manually control the drone, guest share links, annotation, live mission recording, and the standard support included. All you need is a DJI Do1 or DJI Do2, and you can get started without spending anything on the software. Plus, when you get started, once you're done and you're looking to expand and you need a lot of integration with enterprise systems, that is where you move to the enterprise. And you can talk to our partners, local partners, to get access to the enterprise version or purchase an enterprise system for your organization. So with that, that's an end of the session. We have a few minutes left and we can take some question and answer. I hope this was useful. I'm happy to take some questions and answer them one by one. And of course, Nicholas and Richard are also here. So we'll be putting across some questions related to Powerline inspections and so on. And Ayushi, maybe you can help us take some questions.
Yes. So yeah, we have a couple of questions in the chat box. Starting with the first question is, power lines are linear assets cutting across various geographic regions. How can we depute a drone dock to carry 100 kilometers of power line?
Right. So probably I can take up, and maybe Richard Nicholas, you can also share that later, your experience. So when you're looking at DJI Do2, you're roughly looking to cover close to around 5 to 10 kilometers of distance, right? Depending upon where you're deploying your terrain. If you deploy it in certain areas, we have seen people flying 5 kilometers on the each side, which is roughly close to a few miles. So if you're looking to cover 100 miles, of course, you would have to deploy this at certain points. We have multiple customers in other domains like pipeline inspection and so on who have done this. So if you're looking to do that at a stretch, you will need multiple units. The cost has significantly come down to deploy these units, and the ROI of using this is really, really high. I met a customer who roughly spent around $3,000 to kind of inspect a mile of a power line, because you require to, of course, pay the person, the travel cost, the time cost, the insurance cost, and everything. It can depend on the geography, but the cost and the ROI of manually inspecting it is really, really high. And that is where you can deploy these kind of systems, because the negative side of getting that infrastructure down is really, really high. So the first adoption that we're seeing is mostly on substations, and then people are looking to expand that to Powerline. Nicholas and Richard, any thoughts on that, what you're seeing, and how do you think about that?
Exactly, Achal. Basically, using the multi-dock approach is what we're seeing when it comes to linear assets. And so, of course, there's always the need to have a site planning or infrastructure planning, and that at times involves mapping all these assets and then knowing their locations and then the terrain and geography and spans that they could go across. And so that pre-planning is key, and using the multi-dock approach is what will help to cover large spans of power lines.
Yes.
Okay.
Great. Aishini, next question.
Yeah. So the next question is the kind of a follow-up question on that. What distance must the docking station be stationed apart to inspect an entire transmission line that could be multiple 100 kilometers in length?
Yeah, I think we covered that already. You can
Covered that question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Next up is what's the process of integrating drones into existing utility companies' inspection workflows? Any customization needed? Maybe Achal, you can take that up.
Sure. So as I shared with the data processing Flink, and you can read more about Flinks online, we offer a standard set of APIs and methods to integrate any kind of third-party systems. So if you have your own utility management solution, we can get all that data geotagged in a very simple format to your system. You can contact our team and we can help you with the API documentation of how to integrate. You can work closely with our partners depending upon where you are located, and we'd be happy to help you with that integration.
Right. Taking up the next question, will the drone be able to identify and avoid the guidelines that are connected to towers with obstacle avoidance?
Maybe Nicholas, are you able to?
Or Nicola, maybe you could take this up.
Yes, so I think that the drones have improved safety features to ensure that power line inspections are conducted in a safe way. You have drones equipped with obstacle avoidance systems. For example, the Matrix 3 TD has a 6-directional obstacle avoidance system. And so with this system, it ensures that whenever the drone is approaching an obstacle, there's that alert. However, what we have also seen on the field is that at certain angles or at certain angles, and depending on the direction of the sun, there's also that ability to make sure that the operation is safe by keeping a distance from the power line. And that is why the drones are equipped with a zoom camera to be able to zoom in. And so when planning the inspection process, you can plan in such a way that the drones do not go too close to the power lines. I think it's recommended to operate from a distance of about 20 meters, and then you can use the zoom camera to be able to zoom in and then conduct any inspections. However, should there be a need for the drone to go closer, the obstacle avoidance system can support and can help. But as I said, in practice, at certain angles, you also want to be careful when deploying that. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, next up we have Achal, I think this one is for you. Can you provide examples of industries or application where the DJI Do2 powered by FlightBase has been successfully deployed?
Well, there are multiple use cases, right? We covered Powerline. So we are deploying on substations. We are deployed on solar panels, gas pipelines, and so on. You can go to flightbase.com/success stories to read more about that and find out about that.
Okay. We'll just take this last question. How much would it cost to deploy drone in a box solution for including purchase, setup, and conducting the inspection, like the overall complete package?
So
Maybe
maybe
Nicola?
any rough numbers that you can share?
I think it varies greatly because of depending on the use cases, and also depending on, for example, we've talked about using the multi-dock approach for power line inspection. So what I recommend is they can share, send an email to support@dronehubgh.com, and then we can have a call, get to understand exactly the use case and the specific deployment requirements, and then we can provide a more accurate assessment of costs related to this. However, the cost varies depending on the approach that is being used, because to an extent, there is always some customizations required, and that means that this is not just only a straight off-the-shelf solution that you pick up. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, my thoughts on that would be on the same lines. But I would like to share the data that about 3-4 years ago used to be a really costly solution. Each deployment would cost you like $100,000, $200,000 for just deploying one dog. But now it is 10x cheaper. So now you can deploy that at 1/10 of the price and scale, because the hardware price has come down. The system is quite reliable, so you don't have to worry about hardware and software. It's all about what problem are you looking to solve, and that is where you need to closely work with a partner like Drone Hub, so to configure that solution for you. So you can set up a call with us, you can set up a call with Drone Hub, and we'd be happy to help you with the entire details of this.
Yeah. Thank you, Achal. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Nicholas, for sharing these really insightful insights. And just like that, we have reached the end of our session. Thank you, our incredible speakers and everyone who has joined today. Remember, next time if someone says, don't try this at home, you can just go and confidently say, I'll just send a drone instead. Until next time, keep safe, keep flying smart, and keep inspecting smart. Bye-bye, everyone. See you all soon.
Bye-bye.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.